post from someone who says that there were some advanced technologies that were used by the Delta Force operators that that abducted or captured Nicolas Maduro. So let's listen to what a witness said about this. And this was all originally recorded in Spanish, and this is all being kind of summarized by this particular individual who gives a link to the original Spanish source, which is important.
A security guard that was protecting Maduro has spoken, and you got to hear what he said. It's in Spanish, but I'll translate. Also, Trump announced that, the cartels, they're going after him in Mexico. The whole vibe of Latin America has changed because of what happened in Venezuela. And now that we're getting firsthand accounts from people that were there, the soldier says they didn't hear him coming. He says the Americans had technology superior to anything they've ever seen. Everything that they were using for radar, for anything, was completely taken offline. They had drones, and the drones were taking out bases and taking out things faster. They didn't have no technology. They've never had to fight against drones. He also talks about that there was only 8 helicopters. There was only 20 men that were sent in, and those 20 men killed hundreds of their men, and none of those soldiers were injured. He talks about it felt like they were firing 300 rounds a minute. Nothing they've ever seen, nothing that they can compete with. And then he also talks to the fact that the Americans had some kind of sonic shock boom that was sent out, and everybody immediately started bleeding profusely out of their nose. They couldn't even gather themselves because whatever was sent at them made them fall to their knees and vomit blood out of their mouth and out of their noses. They were incapacitated immediately. He says he never wants to go through that again, doesn't want to have to fight with the Americans again. He's sending warnings to everybody out there that you think you can fight the Americans. You don't even know what their weaponry is like and what they're capable of. 20 men took out hundreds, and that's starting to spread all through Latin America. And now they're not saying, if you want me, come and get me anymore. They're like, oh shit. Especially after Trump says, hey, Mexico, you're on the list too.
So there you have, I think, an explanation for the success of this capture of Nicolas Maduro, that the US special operators, the Delta Forces, were using advanced technology, state-of-the-art technology, well, far ahead of what conventional militaries are using and far ahead of what is available in the open source world. The arms dealers and manufacturers, they don't have this kind of technology. Even states don't have this kind of technology. And the warning sign that was sent here clearly was that, well, if you, as a leader of a South American country or Latin American country, if you defy the will of the Trump administration, we have the means of being able to send in these special forces operators, and they can slice through any kind of opposition you set up there, and we'll take you. And so, and again, that kind of brings back the exopolitical dimension to this, which is that what the Trump administration is doing is saying, look, everything in the Americas stays in the Americas. You're not going to give it to China. You're not going to give it to Russia. If you find something of interest to us, you're going to give it to us, or we will remove your leader, whoever's the obstacle, and replace them with someone else. And so that's what we're seeing in Venezuela. They didn't replace the regime. They just removed the leader, who was obstinate, and now they have the former vice president, who's now the president, who's more compliant, and I'm sure behind the scenes she's saying, yeah, whatever you want. You want to take all these treasures under our jungles and all of that. Yeah, go for it. We don't know how to deal with that kind of stuff. That's your domain, and of course the oil. They're going to use that to kind of like put pressure on China and Cuba and so forth. So yeah, there are these advanced technologies, and interestingly, JP or Jorge Pabon, he lived near MacDill Air Force Base at the time when we were releasing some of the photos of the flying triangles and flying rectangles that he was seeing or photographing or videotaping, and was encouraged to do so. So they're available on my website, and he was saying that, JP was saying at the time, that they were using MacDill Air Force Base to launch these special operations using these classified technologies all over the world. So, and MacDill is the home of Special Operations Command, and so the Delta Force operators, they either operated directly out of MacDill or some other facility, but Special Operations Command would have been the key player in running the whole program. That special forces or that special operators going into Venezuela.